Hello. Before we begin, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every day we share new videos with simple tools to improve your well-being and reconnect with your body through science and awareness. Most people think that high blood pressure is a medical sentence, a kind of punishment that forces them to depend on medication forever. But what many don't know is that our bodies have an extraordinary capacity to self-regulate, as powerful as any treatment. I'm not talking about miracles or superstitions. I'm talking about physiology, about science applied to everyday life. Today I want to tell you about one of those natural mechanisms, the 3-minute technique, a simple and proven practice that helps your body balance blood pressure without medication, just with conscious breathing. I'm Dr. Gabriel Mina, and I've dedicated more than 3 decades to studying science and sharing knowledge that transforms people's lives. I have worked in hospitals, laboratories, and communities where technology is limited, but natural wisdom resides in every person. Throughout all these years, I have come to understand that the human body is a profoundly wise system. When given the right conditions, it knows how to repair itself. And one of the most powerful ways it does this is through breathing. Blood pressure is not just a number on a test. It is an internal dialogue between your heart and your arteries. If this dialogue is disrupted by stress, fear, fatigue, or poor breathing, the system reacts defensively. It's like an orchestra where all the instruments are playing, but the rhythm becomes chaotic. The result of this lack of coordination is what we call hypertension. The body interprets stress as a threat, regardless of whether the danger is real or imagined. When we live at a fast pace, the body is constantly preparing to flee or fight, releasing adrenaline and cortisol, 2 hormones that tense muscles, accelerate the pulse, and constrict arteries. It's a useful mechanism if there's real danger, but destructive when it's repeated every day. Every worry, every fit of anger, every sleepless night gradually raises internal pressure until it becomes a habit, a way of life. Many of my patients arrive with long lists of medications and tests, but the first thing I notice isn't in their exams, it's in their breathing. They breathe short, fast, and shallowly. It's the breath of fear. And when the body breathes like that, it receives the message that something is wrong, so it automatically raises the pressure. That's why, before talking about pills or diets, I teach breathing techniques. Because air is the first nourishment that enters the body, and also the first regulator of the nervous system. For years I participated in studies that sought to understand how breathing influences blood pressure. In one of them, we observed a group of people with mild hypertension. We asked them to reduce their breathing rate to 6 cycles per minute. In just 3 minutes, the average blood pressure dropped between 10 and 15 points. We repeated the experiment several times, and the results were consistent. We discovered that the body responds quickly when the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for calm, is activated. And the key to activating it lies in the exhalation. Thus, the 3-minute technique was born, 3 minutes of conscious breathing with a very simple pattern. Inhale for 4 seconds, pause briefly, and exhale for 6 seconds. This longer exhalation stimulates the vagus nerve, the main conductor of the body's relaxation system. By activating it, the heart rate slows, the arteries expand, and blood pressure naturally decreases. The surprising thing is that you don't need a specific time or place. 3 minutes are enough to generate a measurable response, and with consistent practice, this effect becomes lasting. It's like training your heart to remember its natural rhythm. Many people try to force their blood pressure to control it, telling themselves, "I'm going to calm down, I'm not going to stress." But calmness isn't imposed, it's cultivated. And breathing is the tool that allows you to do so. When you breathe rhythmically, your body perceives security, and when it feels secure, it relaxes. I've seen profound transformations. People with years of unstable blood pressure who, after practicing this technique for 3 weeks, managed to significantly improve their levels and, with medical supervision, adjust their treatment. What changes isn't just the number, but the relationship with oneself. They learn to recognize the signs before the tension spikes: tense shoulders, a clenched jaw, shallow breathing. And when those signs appear, they already know what to do. 3 minutes, breath, rhythm, and calm. High blood pressure isn't just a physical issue. It's also emotional, mental, and even existential. It's a reflection of a hurried life that leaves no room to breathe. And in those 3 minutes, the body recovers what the day took from it. What I want to teach you today isn't just another routine, but a way to return to yourself, to reconnect with something that has always been within you, the power of your breath. Because when you learn to use it, you can influence your heart, your mind, and your overall health. When I teach the 3-minute technique, I usually explain first what happens inside the body while we breathe, because understanding this changes the way we practice. Breathing isn't just letting air in and out, it's actively participating in the balance of your life. Breathing is much more than a mechanical act. It's a chemical conversation between your lungs, your heart, and your brain. Every time you inhale, the diaphragm descends, creating an empty space that allows air to fill the lungs. This movement exerts slight pressure on the heart, modifying its rhythm. When you exhale slowly, the diaphragm rises, the heart has more space, and its beats slow down. During this process, the vagus nerve is activated, sending a direct signal to the brain saying, "Everything is all right." This communication deactivates the internal alarm system that keeps blood pressure elevated. There's no magic involved, it's pure physiology. For many years, it was believed that the autonomic nervous system could not be consciously regulated. Functions such as heart rate, digestion, and blood pressure were thought to be entirely automatic, beyond our control. Today we know this isn't the case. We can influence these processes through breathing. Perhaps we don't completely control them, but we can modulate them. Breathing is the bridge between the voluntary and the involuntary, and it is through this bridge that we can access the system and retrain it. In my years as a teacher, I used to conduct a very simple experiment. I would ask my students to take their pulse while breathing rapidly for 1 minute. Then I would ask them to do the opposite, take long, deep breaths. In a matter of seconds, their pulse would change. A laboratory wasn't necessary to verify this. The body responds with astonishing precision. And the same thing happens with blood pressure. When you breathe rapidly, your heart interprets this as a threat. When you breathe slowly, it understands that it can relax. Blood pressure is, in fact, a reflection of this internal dialogue. If you learn to control your breathing, you can directly influence your blood pressure. I remember that when I published the first results of my studies, some colleagues were skeptical. They thought it impossible that 3 minutes could be enough to generate a physiological change. However, when they replicated the experiments, the results were the same. 3 well-spent minutes are enough to initiate a chain of reactions within the cardiovascular system. The body only needs a clear and consistent signal to begin adapting. Most people with hypertension live in a state of constant defense, as if their body were always ready to react, even when there is no real danger. Sometimes, a repetitive thought or constant worry is enough to keep this mode activated. The problem isn't always what happens, but how we interpret it. If you perceive something as urgent, your body responds with urgency. And if that feeling persists, the blood pressure remains high. The 3-minute technique teaches precisely how to break this cycle. During the first few days of practice, it's common to feel some resistance. Many find it strange to stop and breathe while their mind insists on running. But a few minutes are enough for the body to understand that there is no danger. The pulse normalizes, the mind clears, and a profound sense of relief arises. That is the true response of the parasympathetic nervous system, not only calming, but also repair. In one of my studies, we measured the amount of nitric oxide, a molecule the body produces naturally that has the ability to relax arteries. We discovered that its level increased significantly after 3 minutes of slow breathing. Nitric oxide acts as a natural vasodilator, improving circulation and reducing blood pressure. What's most fascinating is that the body generates it on its own. It just needs the right rhythm. That's why I emphasize conscious breathing so much. It's a free, immediate, and completely safe tool. We also measured the temperature of the hands and feet. In tense people, these areas are usually cold because the blood is concentrated in the center of the body. But after a few minutes of rhythmic breathing, the temperature began to rise. That's the clearest sign that blood vessels are opening and circulation is improving. You don't even need a blood pressure monitor to notice it, just feel the warmth returning to your fingers. When I understood all of this, I decided to teach the technique not only as a medical method, but as a form of body education. It's not just about relieving pain, but about recovering a skill we've forgotten, listening to the body. The air then becomes the wisest teacher. That's why, when you start practicing, don't strive for perfection, strive for the sensation. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Exhale through your mouth for 6. If you get distracted, return to your focus. If a racing thought arises, exhale longer. Each breath is an opportunity to retrain your nervous system. You don't need absolute silence or a rigid posture, just presence. 3 minutes of authentic presence can transform your day. And the most beautiful thing is that the body learns. With consistent practice, the system adjusts faster and faster. There comes a point when simply sitting and breathing already produces the effect. And before we continue, I want to remind you of something. If you find this content helpful, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Here, you'll find new videos every day to help you care for your health, mind, and energy from a natural, human, and scientific perspective. The heart has a memory, and when the heart remembers, the body regains its trust. I've observed that those who practice this technique not only stabilize their blood pressure, but also transform their way of life. They begin to walk more slowly, listen attentively, argue less, and sleep better. And it's not because breathing has any magic, but because it gives them back something they thought they'd lost: control over themselves. There's a phrase I constantly repeat: the body doesn't lie. If your blood pressure is high, it's not a punishment, it's a message. It's your body's way of telling you that something inside needs care, presence, and attention. And that attention begins with something as simple as breathing. In the next section, I want to guide you step by step through the complete practice of the 3-minute technique, so you can start using it today, anytime, anywhere, without equipment or special conditions. It's simple, precise, and profoundly effective. Before practicing, remember something important. This technique isn't about dominating the body, but about supporting it. The goal isn't to control your breathing, but to restore its natural rhythm. Calm isn't imposed, it's cultivated with patience and consistency. Find a quiet space. It could be your bedroom, a quiet office, or even your parked car. Sit with your back straight, feet firmly on the ground, and hands resting on your abdomen. This position allows the diaphragm to move freely. Avoid crossing your legs or tensing your shoulders. Close your eyes, not to sleep, but to listen inward. Begin by gently inhaling through your nose, while mentally counting to 4. Feel your abdomen expand beneath your hands. Pause briefly for a second, then exhale slowly through your mouth, counting to 6. Don't force the air out, simply let it flow as if you were sighing. That's the rhythm, 4 to 1, 6. During the first minute, it's normal for your mind to wander. Don't fight it, simply let it pass and return to the count. Conscious breathing isn't about emptying your mind, but about giving it a rhythm, a guide. After a minute, you'll notice your body begins to cooperate. Your shoulders drop, your jaw relaxes, and the air flows more smoothly. In the second minute, you'll notice a slight change in your pulse. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen. You'll notice that your heart rate increases slightly as you inhale and decreases as you exhale. This is called heart coherence, a harmony between the two systems that regulate your internal balance, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. It's the precise point where your body remembers how to self-regulate. During the third minute, stop counting. You no longer need the numbers, only the rhythm. Imagine that with each exhalation you create space within yourself. Visualize your arteries as pathways that widen to allow the flow of life to pass through. Feel how your body adjusts to this expansion. This is the deepest moment of the practice, when breathing ceases to be an exercise and transforms into an experience. When you complete the 3 minutes, don't get up immediately. Remain still for a few seconds and observe. You might notice a slight warmth in your face or a soft ringing in your ears. This indicates that your circulation has improved. Take one more breath, effortlessly, and open your eyes. The environment will remain the same, but you will no longer be the same. You have consciously reduced your internal tension. You can practice this technique once or twice a day. If you do it upon waking, you will prepare your nervous system for a balanced day. If you do it before going to sleep, you will facilitate a deeper rest. 3 minutes are enough to activate a regeneration process that continues for hours. You can also apply it in moments of tension, before a meeting, a difficult conversation, or news that upsets you. 3 minutes of silence can prevent an intense emotion from turning into a spike in blood pressure. You don't need to close your eyes or withdraw from the world, just concentrate on the rhythm of your breath. No one will notice, but you will feel the difference. There are some variations you can explore once you master the basic pattern. One of them is walking breath, which consists of synchronizing your steps with your breath. Inhale for 4 steps and exhale for 6. It's ideal for those who enjoy moving, because the body relaxes while walking. Another variation is triangular breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold your breath for 4, and exhale for 4 more. This technique is especially helpful for balancing the mind when you feel anxious. However, if your main goal is to lower your blood pressure, the best option is still to exhale longer than you inhale. You can accompany the practice with soft music, preferably instrumental, with a slow tempo of about 60 beats per minute. Even so, it's not essential. Sometimes, silence is the best melody. Avoid digital distractions. Turn off your phone, the TV, and notifications. These 3 minutes are exclusively yours. Over time, your body will learn to enter this state effortlessly. You'll only need a few seconds of breathing to achieve the same effect. The nervous system's learning is cumulative. Each practice reinforces the next, like a muscle that gets stronger with use. I've seen patients who started skeptical and ended up profoundly transformed. Not because they abandoned their treatments, but because they regained control. When you understand that you can influence your own physiology, your relationship with health changes completely. You're no longer a passive spectator, but an active participant in your well-being. I remember Marta, a 60-year-old woman with hypertension since her 40s. After 2 months of consistent practice, she not only improved her blood pressure readings, but also learned to detect the exact moment her blood pressure started to rise. Instead of panicking, she would stop for 3 minutes and breathe. Her blood pressure would drop, without a crisis, without fear. That's autonomy. I want to remind you that this technique does not replace any medical treatment. If you are on medication, always follow your doctor's instructions. Breathing doesn't replace it, it complements it. It's a bridge between modern medicine and the body's natural wisdom. It enhances everything you already do for your health. An important recommendation: avoid doing this practice right after eating or in very hot places. Your body needs comfort to respond correctly. If you have difficulty breathing or feel dizzy, reduce the time and do it more gently. It's not about forcing the inhalation, but about finding a harmonious rhythm. The power of this technique is not in the amount of air you take in, but in the rhythm you follow. In just 3 minutes a day, you can train your cardiovascular system to respond with serenity. No strength is required, only consistency. 3 minutes of conscious breathing are enough to change the way your heart beats. In the next section, I'll share with you the most impactful results I've seen in my patients, along with the studies that support this practice. We'll also explore how different cultures, for centuries, have used breathwork as a form of natural medicine and why modern science has finally recognized its power. After teaching this technique for many years, I've come to a fundamental conclusion. No 2 bodies are alike, but they all respond to rhythm. Blood pressure can have thousands of causes, but at its core, they all reflect the same thing: a loss of balance between activity and rest. And that balance is always restored by starting with the breath. I've worked with hundreds of patients who arrived exhausted from treatments, diets, or demanding routines. When they began to breathe mindfully, something changed within them beyond the medical numbers. Most describe a sense of inner order. Their pulse stabilizes, their thoughts quiet down, and their decisions become clearer. This calm isn't just mental, it's profoundly physiological. When the parasympathetic nervous system takes over, the body begins its natural repair process. I remember Ernesto, an engineer with 3 decades of accumulated stress. He was constantly checking the clock, obsessed with his goals, and fixated on the speed at which the world moves. His blood pressure was unpredictable. He tried the 3-minute breathing technique with skepticism, but decided to practice it every morning before looking at his phone. In 2 weeks, his blood pressure dropped 10 points. In a month, his cardiologist reduced his medication. And in 3 months, he told me something I'll never forget. I don't know if my blood pressure went down or if my patience increased. Actually, both happened. When the nervous system calms down, the mind also learns to wait. I've seen similar results in students, older adults, people with anxiety, and even women with hypertension during pregnancy. In all cases, the pattern repeats itself. Slow, steady breathing restores the baroreceptor response, that network of sensors that regulates blood pressure and reduces the release of adrenaline. It's like rebooting an overloaded system. Science confirms this as well. At the University of Pavia in Italy, researchers demonstrated that 6 breaths per minute for 3 minutes increases baroreceptor sensitivity and reduces systolic blood pressure by up to 10%. In the United States, a meta-analysis published in Hypertension Research found that guided breathing provides benefits similar to those of some mild medications, but without the side effects. And in Japan, several hospitals are already integrating conscious breathing into their cardiovascular rehabilitation programs. The evidence is clear: the body listens. But this wisdom wasn't born in a laboratory. It's as old as humankind itself. Civilizations have always understood that air is more than just oxygen. In India, pranayama, or breath control, was considered the art of prolonging life. In China, breathing was used to balance vital energy. In Egypt, the Ankh symbol represented eternal breath. And in Mesoamerica, the Toltec and Mayan sages practiced deep breathing before their ceremonies to purify body and mind. Each culture, in its own language, discovered the same thing. Breath is the bridge between body and spirit. When modern science measures its effects, it's simply translating ancient wisdom into data. Today we know that controlled breathing regulates the nervous system, improves cellular oxygenation, increases heart rate variability, and reduces inflammation. All of this translates into more stable blood pressure and a calmer life. One of the most beautiful things I observe in my patients is the moment they regain their self-confidence. Hypertension is often accompanied by fear. Fear of the body, of the number on the blood pressure monitor, of the diagnosis. But when you discover that 3 minutes of breathing can change your readings, fear becomes power. And that power, properly channeled, transforms into health. The 3-minute breathing technique doesn't replace traditional medicine, it complements it. It's not against medication, but rather in favor of it. Breathing enhances the benefits of any treatment because it improves circulation, reduces vascular resistance, and calms the mind. No pill can do everything for you, but your body can multiply the effects of what you're already doing well. I'm often asked how long they should practice it, and I always answer the same: for life. Not because the pressure demands it, but because the body thanks you for it. 3 minutes a day is a reminder that you have control over your well-being. When you breathe consciously, everything improves: sleep, digestion, concentration, and even your mood. Breathing restores what stress disrupts. I also often say that the body doesn't forget. When you teach it the rhythm of calm, it retains it. You can go days without practicing, and a single deep exhalation will be enough to restore your balance. It's a skill that stays with you, like learning to ride a bike or swim. Once you feel it, you never lose it. Now I want to suggest something. Don't just take my word for it, try it for yourself. Stop for 3 minutes after hearing this message. Turn off distractions, place your hands on your abdomen, and follow this rhythm. Inhale for 4 seconds, pause for 1, exhale for 6. Do this 3 times a day if you can, once if not. You don't need faith, just curiosity. Allow your body to show you its wisdom. After a week, observe how you sleep, how you think, how you react. You might notice your blood pressure drops, but above all, you'll feel something deeper shift: the way you inhabit yourself. Air will cease to be something that passes through you, becoming instead something that transforms you. I've dedicated my life to observing the human body, and every day I reaffirm that we are a reflection of the universe. Everything within us pulsates, vibrates, and seeks balance between movement and silence. Breathing is our personal orbit. When we honor it, we align ourselves with the harmony of all things. 3 minutes can transform your day. 3 weeks can transform your body. And 3 months can transform your life. All you need is consistency and a sincere desire to listen to yourself. If you found this message helpful or inspiring, please leave a comment and let me know if you'd like us to talk about how to cleanse your blood naturally and safely in the next video. It's a fascinating topic that complements what we learned today about circulation and inner balance. Remember, every breath is an opportunity to begin again. Health begins with a gesture as simple as inhaling consciously and exhaling with gratitude. And before we say goodbye, I want to invite you to thank God for life, for the opportunity to take care of your health, and for this moment of peace. If you feel it in your heart, repeat this prayer with me. Father, thank you for everything you do in my life. I ask for forgiveness for my sins and for everything that displeases you about me. I accept you as my Lord and Savior. Write my name in the book of life and never erase it. I surrender my life, my mind, my heart, my spirit, and my soul to you, so that from now on, you alone may govern my life. In Jesus' name, if you enjoyed this message, please tell me in the comments which habit has helped you the most. I also invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because we share new videos every day that can help you live with more peace, health, and purpose. See you in the next one. Breathe, release everything to God and trust that He will act.